Hello and welcome back to Overlay DFS. I am your host, Ira Silver, and we got a great show for you today. We're going to be looking at the Week 2 NFL matchups on OverlayDFS.com. We'll also be talking a little Super Contest today, a little sneak preview. We got to pick 5 games against the spread every week to try to take down that top prize of $1.5 million. Are you sick and tired of losing on FanDuel and DraftKings to sharks that put in hundreds of lineups and you're out of it within the first 5 minutes? You never have a chance. With Overlay DFS, we're starting the revolution. We have no algorithms, no salary caps, and no waiting around for drafts. It's a start 'em, sit 'em challenge. It's as simple as that. Matchup between Carson Wentz and Matt Ryan. You just got to pick who's going to have the most fantasy points. If you're right, you get a win. If you're wrong, you get a loss. The money last week in NFL Week 1 took it down with an 8-4 record. Without further ado, let's get into the screen and look at the NFL Week 2 matchups. Here you can see in our $109 progressive jackpot game, it's a 9X NFL. So that means all you have to do is finish in the top 10% to win $900. If you go a perfect 12-0, there's a bonus. And that bonus right now is at $26,100. So we got some interesting matchups to bring you this week on OverlayDFS.com. Let's just go through a few of them. You just got to decide who you want to start and who you want to sit, who you want to play and who you want to fade. So in our first matchup here on the board, we got Carson Wentz playing Matt Ryan. And what should be a shootout, Philadelphia's defense didn't look great in Week 1. Atlanta's entire team looked awful in Week 1. So it should be interesting to see how they both bounce back here. As we all know, Matt Ryan could be very proficient on offense, but Carson Wentz, you know, he's a very solid player, and he's got a lot of weapons around him. They're the front runners with the Patriots and a couple other teams to, you know, make the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out in this Week 2 matchup. But they're going against each other, and especially in our game, they're playing against each other. So it'll be fun. It'll be a good back and forth matchup there. Our second matchup on the board here is Deshaun Watson versus Lamar Jackson. Deshaun Watson looked fantastic on Monday night playing the New Orleans Saints, and Lamar Jackson did as well. But he did go up against a junior varsity team in the Miami Dolphins, who look like they're absolutely tanking this year. They don't even want to play. Rumor has it that many players on the Dolphins requested a trade right after the game. Deshaun Watson has tons of weapons around him. Lamar Jackson looks like he has a solid offense. It'll be interesting to see how Arizona's defense comes and plays in Week 2. Arizona's offense against Baltimore as well. Arizona came back, as we all know, in the fourth quarter, led by Kyler Murray, to come back and tie the Detroit Lions in Week 1. Our third matchup on the board, Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers going up against a tough defense in Minnesota. Drew Brees going up against a tough Los Angeles Rams. I almost called them the St. Louis Rams. The Los Angeles Rams. As we all know, Drew Brees is a gunslinger. So is Aaron Rodgers. It'll be interesting to see who ends up with the most fantasy points in this matchup. Both going up against solid defenses. I think that the Rams game has a higher total here. So it'll be interesting to see if Rodgers and company can do anything against the Minnesota Vikings. Our next matchup on the board, Tom Brady, Phillip Rivers. Rivers looked pretty good in Week 1, and so did Tom Brady. Brady's playing against the Miami Dolphins, who, like I said earlier, look like a junior varsity team. They just don't even look like they want to compete. The Detroit Lions, led by Matt Patricia, defensive-minded coach, are going to be facing the Chargers. So it'll be interesting to see what schemes they come up with to try to stop the high-flying Los Angeles Chargers, who ended up going into overtime on Sunday against the Colts. Got Prescott versus Goff. That should be an interesting one. The next matchup I want to get into, they're going up against each other. Ben Roethlisberger versus Russell Wilson. Wilson didn't have such a great day, and neither did Ben, as we all saw on Sunday Night Football. I think that, Roethlisberger is going to look to bounce back in this spot at home against the Seattle Seahawks. Russell Wilson obviously facing a not so stout defense in the Pittsburgh Steelers, or at least that's what it looked like in week 1. So it'll be interesting to see who comes out on top in that matchup. Another interesting matchup here playing against each other as well. Garoppolo versus Dalton. Jimmy G versus the red-headed quarterback. Cincinnati looked great on Sunday. I think they're going to be a lot better than a lot of people think they were going to be in the beginning of the season. Garoppolo looked fine against the Bucs, but then again, it's the Bucs. So we don't know what to expect from Jimmy G and company. Next matchup on the board, Josh Allen versus Marcus Mariota. That'll be an interesting one. They both have good legs. They're both athletic. I think Mariota has the slight edge when throwing the ball with his accuracy. Allen has a stronger arm. He needs to get better with his accuracy over time. We'll go down a little bit here, talk about the last matchup between the quarterbacks, Kyler Murray, Eli Manning. That should be an interesting one. You got both going up against very tough defenses, Kyler Murray against Baltimore and Eli Manning against the Buffalo Bills. Starting with our running backs here, you got Saquon Barkley against Ezekiel Elliott. That should be an interesting one. You got Barkley going up against a tough Buffalo Bills team, but Zeke is going up against the Washington Redskins. So that'll be an interesting one there as well. Moving down the list here, a matchup that I think is the most intriguing here is going to be the James White, Sony Michel battle in the battle of the running backs on the same team. They go ahead and play the Dolphins in Miami on Sunday, and the point spread here is just getting out of control. I think it's close to 19.5, something like that. It's just been it keeps getting pushed up, this number. Money is coming in on the Patriots. I think that if the game goes exactly how the betting public thinks it's going to go right now, it looks like Sony Michel should get a ton of work. They should be up by a ton of points. James White, as we know, is more of a receiver out of the backfield, but he does like to pound it sometimes. But it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Miami Dolphins are tough against the Patriots at home when they play in Miami. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of game script develops and which running back of the two will put up more points. You got Jordan Howard against Miles Sanders. That was an interesting one week 1. That was a back and forth battle here in Overlay DFS. Really excited to see what happens in week 2 as well with this one. Starting with the wide receivers, you got Michael Thomas, Devontae Adams, which is, the battle of the two best receivers in class here, I think. I just think that Devontae Adams and Michael Thomas are probably the two best receivers in the league at the moment. We'll see what happens with Odell because the Browns didn't look like they were clicking yet. The chemistry didn't look 100% there. Their offense looked a little anemic. So that'll be interesting to see who wins between Thomas and Adams. Obviously, another interesting matchup, which I like a lot, is Robert Woods versus Brandon Cooks. It should be a shootout of a battle. I think the total is up to 51.5 now. We're recording this Wednesday around 4 p.m. Pacific time. So the lines will probably move a little bit before kickoff. But, start 'em, sit 'em challenge. It'd be interesting to see Cooks versus Woods. They are on the same team. The big total. So we'll see whoever has the hot hand will probably win that battle as well. You got Thielen versus Diggs. Diggs a little banged up. Thielen with the touchdown on Sunday. Kirk Cousins only threw 10 passes on Sunday. So it'll be interesting to see how much they're going to have to throw the ball on Sunday against the Green Bay Packers. Another interesting matchup, which I love, we're just not sure if AB is going to play on Sunday, is AB versus Travis Kelce. Number 1 tight end in the league, going to go up against Antonio Brown with his new team if he plays, which we're still not sure. A lot of the big saga, a lot of drama surrounding Antonio Brown. He's been accused of rape, so he might not play. We're still waiting for word here. Like I said, it's only Wednesday, so keep an eye out for that. If obviously he doesn't play, the matchup will be taken off the board. And the last interesting matchup here that I like is Zach Ertz, George Kittle, battle of the tight ends. That is an interesting one. They're both top tight ends in the league, and they get a lot of volume. So it'll be interesting to see. Ertz obviously has the higher, total in the game. I believe their total in the Philly Atlanta game is upwards of 50 as well. Super contest. Before we jump into the super contest, I just want to point out this game. All you got to do is just finish in the top 10% of the field, and you win 9 times your buy-in. And all you got to do is stay consistent, win $900 in this $109 buy-in game. And then one day the stars are just going to align. You're going to hit a perfect 12-0, and you're going to win over $25,000. Right now, the jackpot, like I said earlier on the show, is $26,100. I'm rooting for you guys. Let me know if you have any questions. You can always reach me on Instagram. You can comment below here in the YouTube channel. I always respond back to everybody. I try to do my best. You can find us on Twitter as well, all social media at OverlayDFS. Let's jump into the super contest real quick. The lines just came out. These are the lines for the super contest this week. We went 3-2 on Sunday. We escaped. It looked real bad real early. Looked like we were only going to win one game. We snuck out on Sunday alive at 2-2. We won the Raiders game on Monday night. A couple picks I'm leaning towards. I'll probably do a special video tomorrow about the super contest, but a couple picks I'm leaning towards right now are the Bears on the road, laying 2.5 against the Broncos. I just think the Broncos team is anemic. They just look terrible. Flacco looks awful. He looks like he needs to retire. Bears didn't look great either, don't get me wrong, but I think that Matt Nagy's going to put some things together, and their offense is going to click a little bit more on Sunday. I also am leaning towards the Jags on the road in Houston, getting 8.5. I think that the point total is a little too high here. The Jaguars obviously playing with a rookie quarterback. However, the Texans defense, not so great. So I think Gardner Minshew is really going to have an opportunity to showcase his abilities. He was great in college. I really liked him. Jaguars obviously still have a stout defense, and Miles Jack looks like he's not going to get suspended for this game. So I kind of like those two picks right now. I'm going to have to dig deeper into it tonight and tomorrow and get back to you with a special video. But right now I like the Jags 8.5 on the road and the Bears -2.5 on the road. Like I said, please, if you like the video, if you like the content, please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. I would really appreciate it. It would mean the world to me. And if you want to join the revolution at overlaydfs.com, please sign up and let us know. Give us your feedback. We would love for you to play, love for you to try it out. And I think that you would really, really enjoy it. Thanks so much. See you guys next time. I'm Ira with OverlayDFS.com, Overlay Fantasy Sports. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.